So the Oklahoma City Thunder won Game 7, albeit with the Tyrese Haliburton injury happening in that as well. Prayers up to Tyrese Haliburton. We're going to talk a little bit about the final series and it finally coming to an end, but why the NBA free agency starts now. We're going to talk about all those things, several rumors going on and more right after this.
Welcome to the number one place for your daily basketball news and analysis, NBA Central.
What's going on, basketball fans? Welcome to another episode of NBA Central, your number one spot for everything basketball related. I'm the host, Hayes, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at NBA Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today. Of course, yesterday, the OKC Thunder won their first NBA final championship in the franchise's history, and Shai now becomes somebody who won MVP, a scoring title, and NBA championship all in a single year. And, you know, you got to get hats off to what the Thunder were able to accomplish this year. The fact that they won in the regular season by a historic point differential, and then came into what was an amazing final series, I think, between the Pacers. It does suck that Tyrese Haliburton, much like Kevin Durant back, in the day, suffers a major injury, more than likely a ruptured Achilles. It is an Achilles injury. We just don't know the severity of it as of right now. It sucks that happened. He only plays 7 minutes in the NBA Finals, and you felt it. As soon as he landed on the ground and he basically started crying and hitting the ground, you knew that it was a pretty serious thing. And, you know, shout out to the Pacers who had the lead actually by 1 point at half. But then the Thunder came out in the second half of that game, and they understood the assignment at that point. They won the third quarter by 14 points, and they never really looked back at that point in time. The Pacers had some runs in that where it looked like it could get a little bit interesting again, but no, the Thunder end up winning it, and you know they were always the favorite to win it, and you know that comes down to it. And you know you got to give hats off to it. This could really be the true start of a dynasty when it comes down to the Thunder. Now, you don't want to start talking about that before it actually happens, of course, right? Because, you know, you just want to see what's going to happen when it comes down to it. But I think overall, like, you know, the Thunder are a team that, like, they are poised to win a lot more championships. And that's the thing that's scary about this. Keep in mind, this is a team that just won the title, that has, several picks in this year's draft when it all comes down to it, to continue to add to it. They have 11 more first-round picks over the next few years to continue adding to that team if that's what they decide to do. This is a team in the OKC Thunder that have just been built so well that it's just difficult for them to not see them and recognize that this could be the modern keyword there, dynasty that we could be seeing built here. 11 first-round picks they still have. 11 first-round picks that they still have. That's what's crazy about all of this. They like it's wild. And think about it this way: Nikola Topic, who was their lottery pick last year, won't even be making his debut until next season as well. So, you know, they have the 15th pick, the 24th pick in this year's draft, right? Next year, you know, when you look at it, they still have picks from the 76ers, the Utah Jazz that owe them first as well, that are likely to convey when it comes down to that. In 2027, they have a pick swap with the Clippers, and they have a protected first-round picks from the Denver Nuggets for the Peyton Watson trade. This is a team in the Thunder that have every tool at their disposal. I had hypothesized that if they lost the NBA Finals, that they could make a move for any star that they wanted to. And that still holds it's true right now. So, like, the Thunder are a team that's set up. They still have young players that have yet to fully, you know, they're still scratching the surface level of their potential. And they still have tons of more first-round picks that they can still add talent to the team. Hell, they're going to have more first-round picks than roster spots that they're going to have open when it comes down to it. This is a team in the Thunder that could build something that's truly, truly special when it all comes down to it. And we'll see what the Thunder do with it going forward, man. But of course, you know, they got the Rockets who just got Kevin Durant that's going to be trying to nip at their heels and all those type of things, and we'll see what happens there. But you know, and listen, they almost, like, the Pacers pushed them. They pushed them to the brink, right? And so if Tyrese Haliburton doesn't go down, I'm not here to say that the Pacers would have just automatically, unequivocally won that game, but it would have been a close game. And so, you know, it goes to show as well, like, how matchups matter and all those type of things, how that plays a part into this as well. So the Thunder, they're going to be the NBA champions, man. They get to ride out and now try to defend their title. And we'll see what happens there. But let me know what you guys think on the series down below and how the finals went in. How many titles do you see in the future for the OKC Thunder, realistically? Let me know what you think on that down below. But one of the first big dominoes of the offseason to fall yesterday, and that was the Kevin Durant trade, officially being traded to the Houston Rockets for Jalen Green, the number 10 pick, 5 future second-round picks as well, and Dillon Brooks, which is not the package that most people thought that the Suns were going to get back initially when this whole talk started. But like I said before, with the Miami Heat involved in the trade talks, I felt like every team was going to lower their offer. They can only offer so much when it comes down to it. But I think that when you look at now the Rockets, what they've done here, they gotten Kevin Durant, and I've seen your guys' comments. A lot of people don't think Kevin Durant's going to help them too much. I think when you have a player that on high efficiency, we're talking about over 50% from the field, over 40% from three. He was the 6th player in scoring overall in the NBA last year. I think that Kevin Durant's going to help the Houston Rockets. But you did that without giving up a large part of your future. I get it that some people look at Jalen Green, but you still have all your own picks. They didn't even give up some of the best picks that they still have from the Phoenix Suns. The Suns better hope they're going to be able to put a playoff contender out there because the Rockets still have their future picks, right? So this was a move where I feel like the Rockets got what they wanted, and the Suns got a decent deal back. I think what they do at number 10 is going to be really telling in this. We'll see what happens with Bradley Beal. Reportedly that they're going to be keeping Jalen Green, and they're moving forward with the backcourt of Jalen Green and Devin Booker. I guess they haven't learned, but we'll see what happens there. But I think when you look at it as well, Ime Udoka is a coach that just signed a contract extension. That they're now gearing up to do what they're trying to do here. They're gearing up to try to remember. I think when you look at it as well, like through all in all, like Ime Udoka had a part here. He was on that Nets staff in 2020-21. You also look at assistant coach Royal Ivey as well, who is somebody who's one of Durant's closest friends, reportedly via the Stein line as well. Like, I think when you look at all of this, Ime Udoka's staff, the team that they're going to have now here, the defensive ability that they're going to have, the impact that Kevin Durant could have on a Cam Whitmore and a Jabari, Smith, those type of things. Like, this is a team that has, still talent that's still developing. And so if this Kevin Durant trade ends up working out for them, it's going to be something that becomes very fun and sustainable over years. Like, this isn't just about Kevin Durant making their window. It's about Kevin Durant helping extend their window now. And then you have players that can carry that torch. You're hoping that these young players step up. Now, I know people are going to say, well, the 2 timeline thing, is that what it's not really the 2 timeline thing. I think that the Rockets' overall timeline is still their younger players. You just have a veteran here now in KD, who's still one of the best scorers in the NBA for a team that needed scoring. They needed somebody who can isolate in scoring. They needed somebody who can score outside the framework of the offense when things start breaking down. You get that in Kevin Durant. And so now that was the first big trade chip to fall, right? And then reportedly a little while afterwards, it was reported that the Miami Heat and other teams could pivot to DeMar DeRozan. Now, I do think a report came out refuting that, so that teams actually have not started calling on DeMar. The Heat also could be interested in Jonathan Kuminga as they start pivoting and using their assets for that. But we'll see what happens when it comes down to it. That was kind of the first domino to fall. But keep in mind, now the offseason is about to really get started. Teams can start signing deals to their own restricted free agents and unrestricted free agents now until June 30th, which is 7 days away from now, when they can then start signing their other teams' free agents. So, this is going to be, they have the draft in 2 days. This is going to be a lot of things that happen between now and then that really kind of bring together what this offseason is going to look like. This Kevin Durant trade was kind of that first domino. Now, Desmond Bane happened too, right? I don't want to crap on that, but now you're going to start seeing teams be a lot more aggressive. And so with teams having this time now between now and the 30th to start signing their own free agents, that's going to be where you're going to see a lot of teams kind of negotiating and keeping their own players, are setting up for things to move in free agency in the offseason. So I think that's going to be what you see here. Some of the fallout from the Kevin Durant trade just kind of is straightforward of what it is. Like I said, we had speculated that the Suns could look to turn around and flip Jalen Green, but it seems like they're going to be content in keeping him there. I still have tons of questions about why they would want to do that. What does that actually do for them? Have they not learned between all of that? But seems like they're not worried about it. They got Jalen Green. They have a young team now. They got, as well as Dillon Brooks. Don't overlook Dillon Brooks, especially with the Suns wanting to win now, right? Because reportedly they still want to try to win games right now while they have Devin Booker on that team. What his importance that he can do there when it comes down to it. So I think we're going to look at all those things, how that's going to shake out for these teams. But this is going to be an offseason for the books. I think you're going to see a lot of movement around these things. And the draft is going to be a lot of movement, I think, in the draft. The Suns now being there with the number 10 pick. I kind of think they're going to look for a center. Some people have pointed out that they could also look for a point guard in there, what they could desperately need. But with them saying they're moving forward with the backcourt of Jalen Green and Devin Booker, I don't know if that's necessarily going to be true, but it's definitely something that could happen here now. So this is something that teams didn't necessarily expect, right? It's before you come in there. But I personally think that either Derek Queen or Kaman Malawak, I think it's probably going to be the Suns' pick there at number 10 is what I would have to guess if that happens. So then you're looking at saying, let's just say, for example, it's Derek Queen. You're then saying to give up Kevin Durant, you got Derek Queen, Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, and 5 second-round picks. While still not the most enticing and amazing offer that you would think that they could get for Kevin Durant, it is a solid one. So I think we'll see what goes forward here with this one. I think that the Thunder have their sights set on Cedric Howard as well. That's just my personal opinion. I think he makes so much sense for what that team has going on, and we shall see what happens. But there's going to be now a spur of contract extensions as well. And with this, we do have an update that comes out in regards to Mark Stein, who provided what could happen with Kyrie Irving when it comes down to this, says this. To be clear, absolutely nothing has changed in terms of the long-held anticipation that Irving will be anywhere but Dallas next season. Yet it does remain unclear at this juncture whether Irving will simply activate the option and then try to hammer out an extension with the Mavericks that he can be signed starting July 7th or surrender the option to become an unrestricted free agent. Passing on the option, of course, would suggest that the sides are headed for a new deal in free agency, with Dallas anticipated for some time to try to resign the 33-year-old to a new 3-year contract in general vicinity of his original 3-year, $120 million deal with the Mavericks. So it seems like the Mavericks are going to try to lock in to keep Kyrie Irving. Now, I think when you have Anthony Davis there, you still have veterans in Daniel Gafford as well. Of course, you have in Cooper Flagg. You add in Derek Lively as the young players that you have there. Klay Thompson's still there. This is a team that I think, and Nico Harrison is just weird, right? I think that you're looking at now what's going to happen going forward. What is it going to mean for this Mavericks team? Are they trying to compete now while Cooper Flagg's growing? Are they going to try to, showcase their veterans, make a move later? We've seen that happen before where you can lock in your veterans to their extension and then try to move them. What's going to happen here? I think that's what's going to remain to be seen here with this Dallas Mavericks team. But to hear that Kyrie Irving could be signing a 3-year, $120 million contract, it doesn't really surprise me because the Mavericks are a team that I do think that Nico Harrison is enamored with what they have here with the roster. Now, what happens with that or not, we shall see, but I do think that that is the most likely path here and that they're going to be trying to hold on to what they have, build around that. I do think Daniel Gafford or Derek Lively could be moved this offseason to kind of make that roster make a little bit more sense. They're also going to be looking for a stopgap point guard while Kyrie Irving is healing, whether that's like Alonzo Ball or they go to the free agent market for either the Jones brothers, Tyus Jones, Trey Jones, I think can make a lot of sense for those teams as well. There's going to be some movement around here. And I think overall, I know I'm going to be busy on this channel. You guys are probably going to see my face. If you see a lot of uploads, don't curse me out. But we're going to be dropping. As news drops, we drop. Now, we're not going to drop news for every little signing, but as far as the major ones that happen, major trades that happen, look out for that. After the draft, we'll have a winners and losers of the draft episode. We'll also be live for the NBA draft on this channel as well. So hit that subscribe button and get notified anytime we go live. But that's my thoughts on everything today, man. Make sure you guys are following us at NBA Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, question, comments, concerns, NBA Central Show at gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the #1 spot for everything basketball related. Thanks to you guys. And like I like to end every episode on, see you guys the next time I feel like making an episode. Probably later on today, to be honest with you. But we're probably not going to make it to tomorrow. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Breaks Media.